Greetings everyone, I'm Jed Shlackman. I work as a holistic counselor, a spiritual energy healer, and hypnotherapist. The current video is one where I'll be talking about an electrical medicine technology, and this is something that's actually very old, something that's been in the market, you could say, for over a century. And this is the violet ray device, which relates to electrical technology developed by Nikola Tesla, and it's something that was commonly recommended or suggested for people who are receiving readings, psychic readings or intuitive readings, you could say, from Edgar Cayce, the renowned 20th century so-called sleeping prophet. And Cayce was often giving or transmitting messages and guidance for people looking for help with health issues. And the violet ray device was something that was widely available at that time, and something that people were being told through Cayce was a useful, valuable tool to help them with addressing particular concerns they had regarding physical or mental health. So there's the spiritual side of it, and then there's the technological, scientific side, where Tesla developed these high-frequency devices generating electrical current, and Tesla was interested in developing methods of applying that for health purposes to support the body's healing processes. There are very definite effects of using the violet ray on your body, and it's something that is still used in some contexts, and it's something that doctors, of course, aren't out there recommending as treatment for medical conditions, since, at least in the United States, the government does not recognize it as an approved device to treat all these different health concerns that people might be trying to use it for. Although if you go back into the first half of the 1900s, you'll see that there were companies selling those violet ray devices, and in the instructions in the material given with them, it listed many different health concerns that it was considered to be a useful treatment or remedy to assist with. And many people were getting great benefits for many different health concerns. And then over time, the shift in the medical field toward pharmaceutical medicine, the suppression of homeopathic medicine, of naturopathic medicine, and anything that didn't fit into that pharmaceutical patent medicine paradigm, that led to the pushing aside of things like the violet ray and other electrical devices, wave oscillations, Rife frequencies, these other energetic or electrical healing modalities. Those were not something that was profitable to the drug-producing industry that was rapidly gaining power and prominence. So I'm giving a disclaimer here that I'm not providing this video as any form of medical diagnosis or treatment or medical advice for anyone's specific health concerns. I'm just giving some general education and explanation of how this functions and how those effects could be useful if you're looking to get health benefits. So Cayce, as most of you watching may know, is credited with being the pioneering inventor who brought us AC electricity. So there's AC electricity, alternating current, which our buildings, our homes, our apartments, those are using AC electricity coming from the electrical outlet, coming from the power plant. Ultimately, the electrical power plant is transmitting that power along the power lines using alternating current. Current is the flow of electricity, of electrons, of this form of energy. And the other form of electricity that was being developed back in the 19th era, well, probably in the 19th century as well, but that we know of in the 20th century, direct current, which is the form of electricity that we're getting from batteries. Batteries are providing that DC electrical current, and they're devices that are able to adapt or alter the form of current in between AC and DC. So you often have devices with adapters that convert from one to the other. So if you have battery power and you want to plug a regular AC type electrical device in to use that battery power, you'll have something that converts the DC into the standard AC output. Now, I'm going to show you the violet ray device, which works with AC electrical power and which produces kind of the static type electricity or plasma. Many of you have seen those plasma balls. It's a glass that has the you could say an electrical bulb inside. When you turn the power on, there's electricity coming through there, and if you put your hands around it, it looks like this sort of lightning, this plasma discharge, as that current is coming between that glass where the electrical energy is active and your hand, which is also carrying electrical current. We're living beings. We have our own natural living electricity, you could say, coming through us based on the spiritual energy source that's coming through and animating our bodies. So our body is producing electrical energy, and when that current of our body comes close to that current from the plasma ball, or in this case we'll be using a bulb that comes from the violet ray device that's producing that type of electrical discharge, you can see the current go in between them. It's like almost like a lightning bolt. This little wave of electrical energy is jumping between them. So that's part of how the violet ray device works. It's producing that electricity, and when you bring it to your body, the current is then coming into your body, and what you'll feel or experience depends on whether it's actually on your body touching, or you have it very close to the body, which creates kind of like that jump in electricity, which has a more stimulating effect. It's almost like when you put your finger next to the electrical outlet and you have that electrical shock. Well, this is not that intense. It's not a shock per se. It's not that strong in effect, but it's a milder version of the same principle or phenomenon as that electrical current jumps in between a higher intensity and a lower intensity in a sense. So here's the box that I have a violet ray device in, and this is one of the cheaper types of violet ray devices where it has a plain two-pronged electrical plug, so it doesn't have the third grounding receptacle there. So this is actually something where there is a little extra risk per se of getting a bit of a shock when you're using it if you're not careful. So it's more advisable to work with the grounded plug versions of violet ray devices. We're going to open the box now. So here we are looking inside the box. I don't know how well you can see that, but at the bottom, that's the actual electrical device, that white thing. So we're going to take it out. Here it is. So you can see that plain two-pronged AC plug. So you would just plug this into a regular electrical outlet, and then on this end there's a part that you turn. So you turn it on and you can regulate how strong the current is. So you can just turn on a little bit, or you can increase that electrical output to a certain point if you want it to be stronger. And then there are the bulbs. So this is essentially a neon type light bulb. So you put this into this end of the device, and then when you turn it on, the inside of the bulb will actually turn a violet color, just like neon lights do. And the color is based upon the gas that's inside the bulb. So those bulbs use halogen type gases, so argon, neon, xenon. This one is a violet one, but they also have bulbs for the violet ray devices that are an orange color because it's a different gas, and it works pretty much the same way. The difference with the gases produces a slight difference in the effect of the bulb, primarily in terms of how deep that is going to penetrate as you put it on your skin. In either case, it's producing a little bit of ozone. So when you have this on, the high frequency electricity is creating some ozone with the discharge. So you might smell a little bit of that ozone, that active oxygen gas. It's not a strong amount of it, so you're not going to notice like being irritated with the ozone gas when you're breathing. It's not that much ozone, so unless you're extremely sensitive, it's not going to bother you. And the ozone acts as a disinfectant. So traditionally, when the violet ray device was used, many of the conditions that it was being recommended for were infectious type illnesses. So if you put this on your skin where there's some type of infection, some type of fungal condition, for example, the ozone will have a therapeutic effect with that, because that ozone gas is oxidizing all different kinds of microbes, molds, bacteria, viruses, etc. So there are different bulbs or probes that are put at the tip of the violet ray device. This particular one has a tip that you could actually put in orifices of your body. So you could put it in your ear, for example. You could put it inside your mouth. You just want to be careful, making sure you're not overstimulating a certain area. So they don't recommend using it for a long time sequence. Just a couple minutes, maximum 10 minutes perhaps at a time would be more than enough. So you don't want to use it for too long because it is stimulating your circulation. It is bringing that ozone, that active oxygen there. So it's stimulating redox activity in your body. And depending on what state you're in to begin with, you don't want to overdo that. You want to have a certain amount of balance there. Now I'll show you a couple of other bulbs that come with it. This is the comb style bulb. So when you have this, from each of these little parts of the bulb cone, you'll have that little discharge of electricity coming out. So it's coming through this whole thing out of each of those points. And it looks like a comb, like you could comb your hair with it. And people have used this often for the head, for the scalp. It stimulates the circulation there, and it could address skin conditions on your scalp, and it also promotes hair growth. So for people that are dealing with hair loss, with baldness, the violet ray is something that, going all the way back into the early part of the 20th century, was used to help with addressing that condition. And let's show you one more. So this is another type of bulb or probe. You could use that anywhere on your body. It's kind of smooth and flat at the tip. So there isn't really many precautions in terms of where you wouldn't place the bulbs. I wouldn't place it on your teeth. You don't want electricity running through your teeth directly. It's okay to have it in the gums nearby, but going directly on the teeth wouldn't be a good idea. Your eyes, you want to be careful there. If you use it around the eyes, you'd have your eyes closed. You don't want the light, that violet light or orange light, going directly into your eye, but it's okay to have it there with your eyes closed. And since it's improving circulation, if you have issues with your eye muscles, with focusing, with nearsightedness or farsightedness, that's something that actually might be helpful. It could help your eye muscles kind of relax and shift and improve your vision. No guarantees that's going to happen, but it's something some people have found beneficial for that purpose. For vision, my recommendation is to gradually build up your exposure to natural sunlight. The natural sunlight is actually what our eyes are designed to work with. And unfortunately, in our modern society, most of us spend most of our days indoors and increasing amounts of time looking at artificial light, at LED, which doesn't have a balanced spectrum of frequencies, which is straining our eyes in various ways and contributing to the increasing rates of vision problems that are present in our current society, our current time period. So the violet ray is something that improves circulation, so that electrical energy is a current going through your body, improving circulation. Just like other electrical therapies, people use things like the TENS unit, other magnetic or electrical systems, the pulsed electromagnetic fields, PEMF. That's another increasingly popular electrical medicine modality now. So those work with electrical energy, sending pulses through the body, which improves circulation, which can actually kind of get our body into a healthier rhythm, improving the cellular metabolic activity. So the violet ray, something that is using simple electrical technology that Nikola Tesla developed, the Tesla coil, that's something that has these beneficial effects, and it's very simple, very inexpensive, so it's a way that someone could start exploring electrical medicine and how that could provide health benefits. And as I mentioned, Edgar Cayce, who was a very accurate psychic, we could say, or trance channel or trance medium, he was getting information from the spiritual plane, giving specific guidance for clients of his about their health, and there is a detailed record kept of his readings, which is currently provided by the ARE, the Association for Research and Enlightenment, which has been devoted to sharing Edgar Cayce's teachings, his life history, and different holistic healing modalities or resources that Cayce was suggesting in his time. So if anyone's interested in seeing those actual readings and the specific content that he provided, the ARE is a repository of that. There's also many books that have been written about Edgar Cayce that have some of the readings, some citations, quotations from what Edgar Cayce's readings were presenting. And the violet ray device is one of the healing tools or healing modalities that was fairly often suggested. So from the spiritual realm where the guidance is coming, they're seeing health benefits that are available to us from the violet ray. And since that was available at that time when those readings were being given, Cayce, giving that channeled information, was telling people, yes, you can start trying working with the violet ray, and that is something that's likely to give you benefit for X, Y, or Z condition that people were seeking some help with. So we have the spiritual side of that, and then we have the basic science of how we are electrical beings. Electromagnetic energies are going to have effects on our body, on our physical health and mental health, and we can use electrical and magnetic devices and technologies as healing tools. And this is a rather simple one. All you have to do is plug it in, and you turn on and adjust the electrical current. You place it over whichever area of your body where you want it to have the most direct interaction or effect. So again, it's the violet ray device, very simple to use, and you'll probably want to get a little more sophisticated one than the one I'm showing you here, one that has some more safeguards in terms of preventing electrical shock. And that information you can also find online through the ARE. They recommend certain violet ray devices, and you could also look for antique ones. The companies that made the original ones obviously are no longer in operation, but there are antique devices out there. You can find them on eBay and other marketplaces. For those that are interested in holistic health and spirituality, I invite you to visit my website, which is phinsights.com. That's phinsights.com. For now, I want to wish everyone a pleasant, healthy day. Namaste.